Welcome to my OLC Capstone Project. I am Dr. Kathy Headley, and how can I create a stronger online presence with my students? I want to improve PHYE 313-513. I am not afraid of feedback. Consider the problem. So we began as an asynchronous online course and have minimal training. The course is a 16-week program and I want more online engagement. So what might success look like? Scholars will engage more cooperatively. Consider choose your own assignments. Be comfortable in their own skin as they respond to others. So how can I make the course more user-friendly? How can I give more productive feedback? How will I be able to assess seat hours? The first area where I really looked at my class that I was revising or becoming a master in was my psychological and sociological dimensions of sport. And I've taught this course in the past, and every year I try to update it and make it better. But what I did was, what I appreciate most about this activity is that it allowed me to really document the learning objectives. What was the course itself, what was the course description, and what are the learning objectives, and then from that looking at my assignment. And so some of the feedback I received was looking at the course description, it's something that is maybe valuable. And then one of the suggestions was regarding the verbs to describe student learning. So I revised my learning objectives, I include them as LOs, and then instead of just explain and apply, like the second one, draw connections between history and theoretical approaches instead of demonstrate knowledge. That really helped. So instead of that, assess, analyze, which will then align the outcomes to the assessments in a better way, and I really appreciate that. I appreciate reading other people's what they're doing to see if I can use any of that. And so it was great to understand like professionalism quiz and what other assessments other people are doing. And so I appreciate this activity. Hi, so this next activity is the instructional strategy plan for PHYE 313-513, Psychological and Sociological Dimensions of Sport. And again, what I loved about this is that I needed to really kind of dig in deeper about what I was using for my strategy, and then from the instructional strategy, what assessment strategy will I be using? And the one feedback that the other piece that I really loved about it is it made me dig deeper and think about what materials and resources were needed in order for us to really create an asynchronous program or course that students wouldn't get lost in the muddle. So do they know how to use Flip? Do they know how to use Google Docs or Word? Can they use either or? So one of the things, for example, on if you look down at Learning Objective 4 under Materials and Resources Needed, Microsoft Word or Google Docs, I typically will create a document or a template in Word, but I won't do it in Google Docs. So I'm going to start doing that for the next go-around. And also at the very beginning, providing students with the opportunity to know that they have Microsoft Office for free. Some of the feedback that I've received is really considering the amount of time I have. You know, the options I have where choose your own experience, I think is going to be helpful for my students, especially as I look at universal design. But when I think about time, I need to include a longer time period for those that might need more time. So I think I'm going to stick to, when I look at time, as a means of completing the task or getting it done by today, and then by tomorrow or by the week having it completed. And I think also as I go through, another piece of feedback was reviewing all my instructions, creating rubrics. that will help students to understand ahead of time and give students a clear understanding of what they have to do to create a good plan. So I appreciate all the feedback I receive. Thank you. So I'm looking at the course analysis in my improvement plan, and this exercise was a great exercise for me to really kind of review my instructional design, what my learning outcomes were, what my assessment strategies are, and then developing my course outcomes matrix, and then really kind of delving into what do I have on my course site. So I looked at my course instructor information. Basically what I found in that is that I needed to create more opportunities for students to see me, not just hear me, not just see my responses, but create a vision so they can see who I am, to make it more relational. Again, as you go back to who am I and what do I want out of this, I really want them to feel comfortable with an online learning class, and I want them to be able to find all the information they need. I looked at the instructional strategies and my engagement, and how do I reduce barriers? How do I create opportunities for the students to see that every student could do a project? That means that I have to look at universal design. And when I looked at universal design, I found that I needed to create more choose your own opportunities, where something could be visual, something could be auditory, or something could be written, something that's comfortable for each person. I'm already applying that in my current class that I'm teaching right now, and I really find it's helpful. The students are engaging me in a more positive way. Adding learning objectives to each of the weekly modules. I think identifying what are we working on this week helps the student to see where they're at. And finally, I look at my assessment strategies, and I'm a continuous quality improvement person. I'm always looking, how do I get better? How do I do things better? So my assessments, I'm going to continue to improve on my assessments. One of the things that I'm going to do a better job of is creating rubrics. I find that they help so much. They help me. If a student sees what they have to do, they know what they have to do. And it helps me with my grading as well. These projects will help the students, the scholars, learn better and feel better and reflect and apply on what they've learned.